All right, today we're tackling a really groundbreaking idea for our global food system. We're talking about how to build a superhighway for agricultural data to make sure that everyone, everywhere, can get fed.
It's easy to forget, but pretty much everything in our agricultural system runs on data. From a single farmer checking the weather, all the way up to a government planning its national food supply. It really is the invisible engine powering the whole thing.
And to understand why this is so critical, just look at the numbers. The Commonwealth population is expected to grow by almost 400 million people in the next decade alone. And to feed them, they're going to need an extra $100 billion in food imports. The stakes are huge.
But here's the catch. What if all the essential data we need to solve this massive challenge is scattered all over the place? What if it's duplicated, stuck in silos, and basically caught in a giant, unmoving traffic jam, completely unable to get where it needs to go?
Okay, so let's really dig into this problem of data traffic jams. And this isn't just a clever phrase, it's a very real, very expensive problem for farmers, for governments, and for all the innovators who are trying to make our food systems better. So what's happening right now is you've got this gridlock. You have countless organizations, governments, nonprofits, private companies. They're all out there collecting similar data, but none of their systems talk to each other. It's chaos. All this valuable information gets trapped. It leads to so much wasted effort and frankly creates a power imbalance where the people who need the data most just can't get their hands on it. And the result? So many brilliant ideas just fizzle out because they can't get the reliable information they need to grow.
So how in the world do you clear a jam this big? Well, the proposed solution is something called a National Agricultural Data Infrastructure, or NAgDI for short. The best way to think about it is a project to build a data superhighway, designed to get all that information flowing freely and, just as importantly, securely. Now, this is a really crucial point. NAgDI isn't just another new app or some massive centralized database. No, it's more like a foundational public utility, kind of like our national road networks. Its whole purpose is to connect all the existing data cities and towns out there so they can finally speak the same language and exchange information safely. And just like any real highway, you can't just build it and walk away. NAgDI is built on 4 essential rules of the road. These are the pieces that have to work together to make the whole system function for everyone. First, you need the actual road itself, right? This is the tarmac and bridges. In the digital world, these are the secure, compatible technologies that create the pipes for data to flow through. This is the hardware and software that lets a small farming co-op connect seamlessly with a national ministry's database. But a highway without any rules would be absolute chaos. And that's where the road signs and markings come in. These are all the policies, the principles, and the standards that guide the data, making sure it's private, secure, and that there are clear rules for who can access it and how. And of course, rules need a referee. This piece is the enforcement. You can think of it like a highway patrol. It's an independent, neutral body that makes sure everyone is following the rules. This is what builds trust and ensures the system is fair for both the public and private sectors. And finally, you have to pay for it all. Someone has to build the highway and, fill in the potholes. This is funding and maintenance. It's about having a smart business model, probably a mix of initial government funding to get it built, and then a sustainable plan, kind of like road taxes or tolls, to keep it running for years to come. So why go through all this trouble? Why build this massive digital highway? Well, the destination is pretty clear. It's about unlocking national innovation, boosting efficiency, and driving real economic growth.
On the big picture level, the benefits are huge. Governments can suddenly make much smarter decisions about food security. Investors get access to reliable data they can trust, which encourages them to fund new startups. And maybe most importantly, it gets a nation's data ready for the next wave of technology, like artificial intelligence, which absolutely depends on organized, high-quality information to work.
So really, this is a fundamental shift in how we think about data. We move away from a world of isolated data silos to a system of active data exchange. We go from wasteful duplication to powerful collaboration, from inefficiency to real innovation. And data stops being a tool that creates a power imbalance and instead becomes a shared national resource for everyone.
But let's be real here. Building a national superhighway, whether it's pavement or data, does not happen overnight. This is a deliberate, 5-year journey to make sure it's built right and built to last.
The whole process starts in year 1, just getting everyone on board, advocating, engaging, mobilizing support. Year 2 is about collaboration and planning. Then in year 3, you actually design and launch a working version. The final 2 years are all about operating, testing, and scaling the system up until it becomes a self-sustaining national asset that's ready for major private sector investment.
And the cost of doing nothing? Well, it's severe. This quote from the Commonwealth Secretariat really puts it bluntly. Policy inaction will lead to a weak national digital sovereignty. In other words, countries that don't get a handle on their own data infrastructure risk losing control over their own digital future.
So in the end, the biggest hurdle here probably isn't the technology. We have the tools to build this. The real challenge is human. It's all about building trust. How do you convince competing companies, different government agencies, and small farmers groups that the benefit of everyone driving on the same shared superhighway is far greater than the risk of staying on their own little isolated back roads? That right there is the question that's going to shape the future of our food system.